Okay, we have 4.5, day 2, solving quadratics using square roots. Kind of similar to yesterday, except a little bit further today, advanced division. So you cannot have radical in denominator. Cannot be down there, so you have to rationalize. So if you look at here, first example, we got square root of 16 over square root of 3. So that when I solve that, I got 4 over square root of 3. And then I don't like square roots at the bottom, so to rationalize that, I multiply by that square root. So I got 4 square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. So we got 4 square root of 3 over 3. Just simplifies down to that. So same thing here. We got 2 square root of 3 over, and then I got square root of 4 times the square root of 3. So I have 2 square root of 3 over 2 square root of 3, and I get 1. Just simplifies to 1. If we have something like this, we have to rationalize using the conjugate. Conjugate, which is like if you have a plus b square root 5, my conjugate would be a minus b square root 5. So my conjugate on the bottom here is 4 minus square root 5. And I do it that over that because that's just 1. We're really not changing anything. So on the top I have 3 times 4 gives me 12 minus 3 square root 5. And the good thing about conjugates, you only have to do the first and the last. So we have 4 times 4 is 16 minus square root of 25. 16 minus 5, so I get 12 minus 3 square root 5 over 11. So same thing here, we're going to multiply by 2 plus square root 3, 2 plus square root 3. So then when I FOIL on top, I have 2 plus square root 3 plus 2 square root 18 plus square root 18 times 3, 18 times 3, which gives me 54. And then on the bottom it's conjugate, so I only have to do the first and the last. Now we're going to simplify a bunch here. So this is 9 and 2, 54 would be 9 and 6. So really I have 2 plus square root of 3 plus 2 times 3. So that's 6, because that gives me 3. So 2 times 3, 6 square root 2 plus 3 square root 6 over 4 minus 3 gives me 1. So it's just that. Keep going here. Solving a quadratic equation by undoing. So you're just undoing something. So if we got r squared, I get a number. If my number is positive, then it has 2 roots. It's got 2 answers here. So it's a positive and a negative. So here we got, when we take my square root here, I get r equals 4 and r equals negative 4. Because negative 4 squared gives me 16 and 4 squared gives me 16. So they both work. So when I take the square root here, I get r equals square root of 12, which we're going to simplify to square root of 4 square root of 3. So we got 2 square root of 3. So when we kind of want to write that as 2 answers, we get r equals plus or minus 2 square root 3. Solving, giving exact answers. So I got to get the squared part by itself. So I'm going to subtract 5. I get 36 and divide by 3. I get x squared equals 12. Well, we just did that right up here, and we got our answer plus or minus 2 square root 3. 1/5, and then this part. So I want to get this part by itself here. So I'm going to multiply by 5. So I get k plus 3 squared equals 35. So that now when I square root, I get k plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 35. We can't actually simplify that one. So that when I subtract 3 over, I get k equals negative 3 plus or minus square root 35. One more. Subtract 2 first. 216. Divide by 3. And I get 72. So that when I square root this thing, I get x minus 4 equals, and if we're going to break this down, it becomes 9 times 8, right? Well, then we can break down 8 further, 4 and 2. So it's really 3 times 2. So it's really 6 square root 2. So it gives me plus or minus 6 square root 2. So that when I add 4 over, I can't add it to the 6, so it's 4 plus or minus 6 square root 2, because that square root 2 is attached to the 6.